another video. So we've had a bit of a housey morning this morning, and I've been filming without having actually chatted to you yet. I feel like I honestly wait until I'm filming one of these videos to do the house things. Like, I can't tell you how different the rest of our week usually looks. But it's quite nice because it makes me really productive on days that I like dedicate to doing house things. But it also means that I can film it all and have it all documented, which I love as well. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all the, I guess, kind words and love on my last video. I love making that one for you. It was so nice to have a proper, almost full room transformation. I keep thinking, since I've posted that room transformation, there are so many other bits in my head that I keep thinking of. I'm like, I need to remember to do that room at some point, but it's almost a full transformation. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go and watch it. Let me know what you think. I feel like it's also the first time that I've been able to give you, I guess, like a proper look at the style that we're going for this house. The goal with everything is to keep it quite timeless, but also with modern touches. I don't want it to be like a super country cottage kind of vibe, but I also don't want it to be really trend led. I think that's really important. I don't want to look back at what we've put in next year, say, and think, oh, I wish we hadn't gone for that. It's now sort of out of fashion or whatever. The main goal for this morning was actually just to sort out the TV unit. We've had it sat in a box for ages. Oh, we have so many boxes in this house right now. I'm just going to show you. So this is the bit that you don't see. More behind the sofa there as well. It's just an absolute state. I think, yeah, we're definitely due a trip to the tip. As you saw from that footage, our TV stand is finally in its place. We have replaced it with the darker piece of furniture we had there originally. I think I've mentioned before, but that was always a temporary piece of furniture. It was actually a really old piece that my dad had let me take for the time being. Well, I could have kept it permanently, but it just didn't really go with the, I guess, the vibe of this house. I think we like more of a lighter wood in sort of like oak, teak or whatever, and I had thought about upcycling it, but just, I don't know, there's something that didn't quite sit right with me with upcycling a piece of furniture that is really beautiful in its own right. I mean, maybe one day I would. But the TV stand that we went for was from Tika Moon. We love their furniture. It's the same place that we got our bedside tables from. It's actually a teak TV stand. I was a little bit worried about it because we have got our staircase right next to it, which is oak. I was actually really worried that it was going to sort of clash and just not look that great, but I actually think it looks perfect. So this is it. The wood has actually got a really, really beautiful texture to it. It's really simple, but I love the grain in this wood. I really like that it's got these sliding doors underneath as well, so we can hide Xbox and all sorts of things. So when I say it's really close to the stairs, this is what I meant, and I was a bit worried about it looking like, I don't know, just a bit strange, but I actually think it looks perfect. The only thing I don't like is that we have got this giant TV sat on it. But at the moment, Elliot is not willing to compromise on TV size. So yeah, this is kind of what we're working with for now. But I just personally don't think it looks the best. I think just a little bit of a smaller TV would work a lot better. So this is where we're at with this section of the room at the moment. So that's one side of the alcove, and this is the other side of the alcove. It's actually looking a little bit messy over there at the moment. But the plan, I think I've said before, is to have 2 shelves up there. I actually saw this really cool inspo pic on someone's Instagram story, which I'll try and put up on the screen, but they basically had 2 shelves on the right side of the alcove, and then an armchair here that was almost tucked under slightly. I mean, I don't know what we do with this piece of furniture if we were to do that, but I feel like it could actually be a really nice idea as some extra seating as well. And when we can get rid of this rental sofa, which we are very over at this stage, and we get our actual sofa delivered, which should be in a couple of weeks, but I think when it does arrive, we'll be able to get a much better idea of whether a chair would look good there. And then we could always find another little space for that piece. So it is after 2, sometime after 2, and I'm absolutely starving. So I thought we could make some lunch together. Quite enjoyed showing you that, what did we make the other week? Oh, the salmon, even though that was literally hardly even a recipe, it was so simple. But I thought I would show you one of my go-to tofu recipes, and I'm gonna make double so I can have it for tomorrow as well, because I just feel like that's the best way for me to do everything at the moment. And tomorrow I've actually got a really busy day because we are driving up to Manchester in the evening. got 2 things in central London during the day, so I know tomorrow I'll really appreciate having lunch prepped for me. So the tofu I'm going to be using is this one. In the UK, this is like kind of the standard firm tofu that you can buy from the supermarket. If you don't like tofu, or you don't think you like tofu, this would be a really good way, I think, for you to be able to get into eating it, because I think it's a really tasty recipe. The way that I'm going to cook the tofu, I feel like helps with the texture, because I know a lot of people that don't like it don't like the texture. I'm actually going to be using the air fryer for this. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, I would highly suggest getting one. My sister got me one for Christmas, and Elliot and I are like pretty obsessed with it. We make things in it nearly every day. It just takes the faff out of cooking. I feel like it's really good if you want that like crispy texture with like crispy tofu or crispy chicken, or I mean, you can cook so much stuff in there, like sweet potato fries, wedges. I would highly recommend. But if you don't have an air fryer, you could really easily just bake the tofu or fry it in a pan to get like a similar effect. So I can't remember if I've shown you this drawer or not, but every time I open it, it just brings me such satisfaction. I love the way it's organized. So I just wanted to share with you in case you're looking for some kitchen drawer organization inspo. But these were just both from Amazon. If I can remember, I will link them down below. And this is an expandable cutlery organizer thing. So if you have more space, or if you didn't want to use the knife block, you could actually have a section there as well and have it fill up the whole space. Just works so well for everything we need in this cutlery drawer. And then this knife block is from Joseph & Joseph, or just Joseph. At my family home, we have a lot of things from this brand. Our refillable scrubbing brush is actually from this brand as well. And it just has some really cool, almost like kitchen gadget things. But yeah, I love the knife block as well, rather than having them out on display. So personally, I think a block serves 2. It could serve 3 if you wanted to do a really small portion. But I use a whole block for me for 2 days, or if I'm making it for Elliot, then just 1 day. And the idea is to drain as much liquid out of it as possible. So I'll usually just use a clean tea towel to help remove the liquid, and that's the best way to make it a bit crispy. So rather than slicing it recently, I've actually just been breaking it apart into chunks like this, or slightly smaller chunks. But you can also slice it into basically whatever shaped bits you want, but this is also just a really easy way of doing it, and gives you almost like little sort of chicken nugget pieces. So then all we're gonna do is just take those pieces and whack them in the air fryer. They genuinely need 5 minutes. I mean, you could do about 10, but they do get really a little bit chewy because it takes literally all the moisture out of them. So for the next bit of this recipe, I wouldn't usually measure this out, but I'm going to, just in case you guys want to recreate the recipe. Just fill your blender cup with a little bit of water just so it covers the bottom. Then we're gonna add half a tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, half a tablespoon of maple syrup, 1 tablespoon of gochujang paste. I don't know if that's exactly how you say it. And then a little bit extra just for good luck, because I like it a bit spicy. And then just a little dash of ground ginger and a dash of garlic granules. The gochujang, I'm sorry if I'm completely butchering that pronunciation, but the gochujang paste, by the way, is just from Amazon. I know it sounds a little bit intimidating. It's actually a Korean fermented chili paste. I think that's right. Just adds such a nice flavor. I'm actually really obsessed with it, but yeah, it was just an Amazon purchase. But if you don't have this and you want to try the recipe, I would use half tomato ketchup and half tomato puree as a replacement. Just gonna blend this. Then just gonna slice some veggies. I'm just trying to use up what we have in our fridge because, like I said, we are going to Manchester tomorrow. So we have these spring onions, which to be honest are almost off. They're actually going a little bit yellow, but I think the flavour should still be okay. And some sweetheart cabbage, which I had left over from that green goddess salad recipe. A few of you asked about that actually on DM, and I posted the full recipe as a reel on Instagram. I've been doing quite a few recipes over there recently. But yeah, it's such a nice one for salad. tell you how happy I feel with this room. When we got into bed last night, I was like, it's just such a calm, just lovely feeling space. And it's amazing how, obviously there's a point behind Decor, which is like trying to create a vibe for your space, but I can't tell you how much happier and more settled I feel in this house since we've even just had one room that feels properly done. I feel strangely like I felt less settled in the first few weeks at least, maybe even month of living here than I had done in our flats or houses I rented in London. And the weird thing about that is we've actually bought this home, so it's actually our home. So if anything, I thought I'd feel more settled here than I did in the places that I was renting. But we moved into this house with very little furniture and pretty much like no decor items at all. The places that I rented it in London were all furnished, so everything was kind of ready to live in when you moved in. It was such a strange feeling because I felt so grateful to have moved in, but it felt like such an empty shell. It was quite an odd feeling, and the more decor items and rooms we're putting together with different pieces of furniture that we've chosen, I think the more settled I'm feeling. It's such a nice feeling and just cozy space. And even last night I came up to bed early just because I really fancied like sitting in bed on Pinterest in this room because it feels so welcoming. So I thought I'd do a mini sit down Q&A to answer a few questions that I have been asked over on Instagram. I'm probably going to pick predominantly house related and maybe some personal questions, but I just thought it might be helpful to answer some, especially about house things. So a lot of the questions that I've been asked are about specific items, especially after the last video that I shared with the full bedroom transformation and can I link items. So after I posted the last video, which was our master bedroom transformation, this room, I actually posted loads of the links in the description box. So if you're ever wondering about an item, definitely go and check in there. So I will try and remember to link as many things as possible, but if not, you can just leave a comment on a video and then I can add it into the description box. But yeah, I will copy and paste that with anything else I can think of off the top of my head into the description box of this video as well. So that'll be like everything, including like the bed, the artwork, the bedside tables, cushion covers and everything like that. So yeah, there are a lot of questions about individual items. So these two questions kind of link. First one is, where do you get your inspiration from? So mainly Pinterest, if I'm honest. And the next question, which kind of links, is how did you decide on the style for your decor? I get most of my inspiration from Pinterest. One program though that I did really love watching, which I feel like I actually learned quite a lot from, was the Netflix show on Studio McGee. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called, but it's basically about interior design. I really love the way that they decorate their houses. But yeah, honestly, mainly Pinterest. Sometimes Instagram, I definitely follow a couple of house accounts. The other question about how did you decide on the style for your decor? So the way that we sort of decided on how our house wanted to look was actually just kind of based on the property, the area it's in, its history. I think I mentioned before, but this is actually a really old cottage and the previous owners had done a lot to it already. We do have a lot of original features in this house and things like the windows, fireplaces, these sorts of things that I feel definitely lend themselves to a more sort of cottage feel. As much as we've definitely got enough space for us in this house, the rooms aren't particularly big. So I think if we were to have gone with really, really bright colours or really dark colours, I think it potentially would have made the house feel a lot smaller. Someone's asked, how long will you stay in this house for? Honestly, no idea. I mean, obviously we've only just got here. Absolutely no plans to move out of here anytime soon. So I'm guessing like years. I have no idea how many years. Kind of depends on our circumstances. Style ideas for an outdoor terrace. So not that we have an outdoor terrace, but we do sort of have I like to call it like an alfresco dining area, as you might have seen in the house tour. But we have a few plans for outdoor seating, which I will definitely share with you as the months get warmer. But I think having a space that you can invite your friends to. Personally, I love either a big rectangular table, big round table, lots of rattan furniture. If you can, I really feel like an L-shaped sofa, obviously an outdoor sofa, is really nice for kind of lounging on in the summer and having those chill sort of drinks outside. And I love outdoor fairy lights so much. We have fairy lights all the way over the top of our outdoor dining area and I just really feel like it can kind of set the mood. But do stay tuned for some outdoor interior videos. Could you chat briefly about your experience renting in London being self-employed? So I would say my experience was generally pretty smooth. The only time that I found it difficult being self-employed and renting was when it actually came to getting the properties. So one of the issues with the London property market is it's so oversubscribed to. There are so many people wanting to live in such a small space that you actually have to put like a property bid in, even though you're just renting the property. It's crazy how competitive it is, especially in areas such as like Clapham, Wandsworth, Balham in South London, where I was personally living. I can't really speak for the rest of London, even though I was always renting with other people. I did often find that when it came to the landlord selecting which group out of the bids that were put in the property they wanted for the house, I would be one of the less appealing people as such, because they definitely classify people who are self-employed as higher risk. For my first property, I actually had to have a parent as a guarantor, which was very frustrating. Yeah, they wouldn't take me without a guarantor, so yeah, I was very fortunate to be able to do that. But if you're trying to find another property at the moment and realizing how difficult it can be, I would say to write a passage either about you, if it's just you renting, or about you and your friends, saying sort of how you know each other, how you're connected, you know, your values, why that property would be great for you, because that worked a treat for us. Do you and Elliot plan to have children in the future? Just realised that my camera battery is about to die, so I have to move on to filming on my phone. Right, onto the phone. Yes, we absolutely plan to have children in the future if we can be lucky enough to do so. If we can't have our own children, we will undoubtedly adopt as well. We speak about having kids all the time. I feel like it's just one of those things that we both really want to do at some stage, but that is at some stage. But yeah, absolutely not anytime soon. So next question is, do you plan to do any DIY? Yes, absolutely we do. I'm sure we will have so many little DIY projects in the future. As much as we are very lucky in that this house doesn't have a ton of stuff it needs doing at all. Like when we moved in, it was obviously completely livable and looked really beautiful already. We are so at the start of our renovations. When I say renovation as well, they're obviously pretty minor things in the grand scheme of like what we could be doing to a property. But yeah, we have literally completed one room so far. We've got a long way to go, and I guarantee we will have lots more DIY things to come, and I will absolutely be sharing them on here. So this next question, I really feel you, because this is something that I still find really confusing when I try and explain it to other people. So someone's asked if I can share more about mortgages, especially for first-time buyers, and I'm trying to think of the details I can share with you, because I genuinely forget what type of mortgage we got. We ended up going for a 2-year fixed rate mortgage. We personally, after speaking to people, have found that the standard deposit to put down for a property is 10%. We put down a 10% deposit for this property, so that's 10% of the value of the home, and then the rest of that money we borrowed in a mortgage, and then you pay that back every month, almost like you do if you're renting a property. As mentioned, our mortgage is a 2-year fixed rate mortgage, which means we have a set amount that we pay every month for 2 years. We know what that's going to be every month, but after the 2 years, not too sure what happens then. Speaking to a mortgage advisor is amazing. You can ask them literally any questions that you want to know, and if it's a good one, they will hopefully lead you in the right direction. Just to add as well, we didn't choose to go with a mortgage from our bank, because I know that you can sort your mortgage through your bank, but as far as I'm aware, that can sometimes mean that the mortgages they can offer you are more sort of limited. So I'm just editing this, ready to upload it tonight, and I realised I didn't film an outro, so we've got a very abrupt ending. So I just wanted to hop on here and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your support on my recent videos, and please subscribe if you want to stick around, and there will be another video on Sunday, so see you in the next one. Bye!